What's up, Civic Minded viewers? Aiden here. Today I am going to be showing you once again how to replace your front fog light bulbs. Some of you may remember I did a video of this about a year ago. I had aftermarket fog lights then. I have since changed to fully OEM fog lights using parts from carparts.com. Did some car work for some neighbors, got paid a bit of money, figured I'd spend it on that because my other ones were broken thanks to that step which now has a pool noodle on it for obvious reasons. In that video, I replaced the bulb by removing the splash panel, or not really removing it, just bringing it down, and then removing the bulb from the back. That is a totally acceptable method, but I got a lot of comments saying that there was an easier way by removing this trim of the fog light and then removing the fog light itself. I've tried that, it works. I wouldn't say it's easier, it's just a different way of doing it. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating both methods. Which method you use is going to depend on which car and which lights you have. If you have anything from 2012, you have to go from the back because the screws that hold the fog light in are screwed in from the back, so you can't remove them from the front. If you have a 12 or 13 coupe of any trim, same thing. If you have a 14, 15 coupe, you should be able to use either method, but bear in mind that there is an extra screw at the corner of the fog light trim there. And if you have a 13 through 15 SI sedan, you have to come in through the front. Also, it's a slightly different shape here, and the light is held in with 4 screws as opposed to 3, but it's essentially the same procedure. And if you've got what I have here, which is your standard EXL fog lights, which if you've added fog lights to your LX EX hybrid, chances are that's what you've got. You can use either method. If you have aftermarket fog lights like my old ones, check to see which direction the screws go in. If they're screwed in from the back, as they are here, there's no way to access that from the front, you're gonna have to service from the back. And it may actually be easier to service from the back because these aftermarket trims are very easy to break. Now both of my fog lights are working fine. They have not blown since I replaced them, but I will just remove the bulb and put it back for demonstration purposes. First thing you want to do for either method is to open your door, turn your alarm off, which mine was off already. Also make sure your fog lights are turned off and preferably have been for a while because the bulbs get hot. I am going to start by redoing this from the back. To do that, we're going to need a 10mm socket and ratchet and a non-marring pry tool. First, if we come under here, yes, my bumper is mangled and it will be fixed soon. There's a little pop rivet here. You're just going to want to get your pry tool, which I need depth perception to do, but get your pry tool under there, wiggle it, pop it out like that. Then, if we come further under here, we will see a 10mm bolt here. That needs to be loosened. With those out, this piece will simply lift free. It's kind of sandwiched between other bumper plastic and the bumper itself, but just lower it down like that. You'll probably get a whole mess of goodies. But then we have access to our fog light somewhere. Alright, so I have moved some of the wires out of the way. There is the bulb right there. I have a bigger Canadian washer fluid tank now, so it's a bit harder, but still totally doable. So what you're going to want to do is, if you've got the stock connector, squeeze the tab at the back, pull it off. On this, squeeze the tab on the sides, pull them off. Once those are off, it's as easy as getting your hand up there and turning the bulb counterclockwise. Just like so. Just like that. Then to install it, you see how it's got tabs there? Line the tabs up with those holes, and then turn it clockwise. You can use the front of the light for reference if you wish. So you'll just get them locked in there, and then you notice they just lock into place. And then from there, it's just a matter of reconnecting your connector and closing up the splash guard, putting the bolt and clip back, and you're done. When putting the screw back, you want this piece to be under the bumper, but also under this piece here. So you're gonna wanna just rig it like that. Then you can put the screw in and just put it back together. Now, to service from the front, and I most definitely get the appeal of doing it using this method over the last one, having just done it and having some trouble. But to do it from the front, you only need a flathead, Phillips head screwdriver, sorry. You may need a pry tool, you may not. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna feel along, ignore this as a daytime running light that you probably won't have, but you're gonna wanna feel along until you feel a little notch there. Pry out on that notch. You'll see there are some clips up here, just like that. If one of them doesn't feel like it's coming, that means it might break. So what I would recommend is that you open the bottom splash panel as shown in the previous method and move that tab until it comes out. And that will reveal it. The fog light is held in by 3 Phillips head screws. And like I said, they're turned the other way on my Winjet light, so we wouldn't be able to do this. But you're just gonna wanna get your Phillips head screwdriver and remove all 3 of them. Whoops. Remove all 3 of them like that. From there, you can just pull the light out and unplug it as before. It might be a little short, but same method to unplug it as before. Just squeeze the back tab for OEM, side tabs for this aftermarket connector. From there, get it on something soft, like your leg maybe. And then you can just turn this. It takes a good bit of force to turn this. I might need 2 hands, but I found that sometimes putting my thumb inside the connector helps. Turn it as before, install it as before, make sure it's straight. Just like that. And as we can see, perfect. Note that there are some little retainer clips here that fall off very easily, so be mindful of that. If one of yours keeps falling off, you can reinsert the screw into it and just tighten, and then just loosen when you're ready to put the fog light back in. Installation is the reverse of removal. When reinstalling this trim here, make sure all of the tabs go into the correct holes, both on the top and on the bottom. And that's pretty much it. The bulbs are H11, size H11, not hard to find, 35 bucks at AutoZone. Short, simple video. I just thought I'd make it to update the last one, which was not all that great, and to make sure I got the front method in there. And yes, I definitely see why you guys prefer that. It is a lot less messy and it is a lot less cumbersome. But as always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment, shoot me a direct, and drive safe, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one. Once those... Okay, I'm seeing why this method's maybe not that appealing. And then you can simply do the same... I don't want to scratch it on the floor.